to make $1,000. Practical suggestions based on actual experience for starting a business of your own and making money in your spare time. By F.C. Mineker. Introduction. Do you want to know 1,000 ways to make $1,000? In this book, you will learn stories from different people who succeeded in business and lived a happier life. Some of them are previously unemployed. Some of them started very young. These entrepreneurs faced many challenges, but they didn't give up. 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000 was originally published in 1930s. This is a classic, but all its principles still holds true today. The famous author Warren Buffett had this book to thank for inspiring him at an early stage. 1,000 Ways was made available again for the new generation. So, without any further ado, let's start with the first chapter, How to Start Your Own Business. There is no better time to start your own business than now. If you have that product or service which you know you can sell, you can start doing so right now at this moment. Do not wait for things to happen. Do not wait for your situation to get better. Do not listen to what the people say around you. If you think about the obstacles you will face, then it will cripple you. Just start moving. You need to have the determination. You need to have that drive. People call it guts. If you have guts to succeed, you won't be discouraged. That is even if you fail at first. Your goal is to succeed, to make money, and to live a better life. In order to get there, you must start the journey. Maybe you're thinking that you don't have a capital, but even that can be arranged. The most important thing is you have that will to make money. Start your own business and start it now. You can learn from the story of Gustavus Swift. He was a young man with difficulty in walking. He lived in a small village. Swift did not have a capital, but he got a lot of guts in him. The other young men in his village think of ways to make money. Swift did not waste time and started working. He knows how to dress meat. He prepared one good calf and dressed it the best way he can. Swift walked for miles to sell his quality meat. He did not mind all the work. Swift thought of it as an adventure. Later on, he came to Chicago and started the Swift meat packing business. Swift remains a leading processed meat brand today. You may have plenty of business ideas in your head right now, but in order to start, you just need a good one. Choose one business idea that you know something about. And that was how Mrs. Ned started with the tomato juice business. It was at the time of the Depression. The Sned family was struggling to survive in Evanston, Illinois. Mr. Sned just lost his job. The two sons needed to go to college. One day, a friend sent them a box of freshly picked tomatoes. Mrs. Sned decided to make tomato juice from them. She went out to the neighbors to share some bottles. Mrs. Sned's tomato juice tasted really good. The neighbors liked it very much. Mrs. Sned thought that she could produce more. She shared her idea to her husband and two sons. The Sneds called their product Morning Glory Tomato Juice. Morning Glory was a bit more expensive than the tomato juice sold in the grocery. But the people don't mind. It was homemade and delicious. Morning Glory is squeezed from quality fresh tomatoes. Soon, the Sneds had to rent a plant along the railroad. They had to produce more tomato juice for their increasing number of customers. They supplied for hotels and railroad companies. Morning Glory expanded to other food products as well. All these came from Mrs. Ned's idea in her kitchen. So, why start with $1,000? It is a reasonable amount which will give you focus and motivation. Most people fail because they lack a target in business. Setting up the amount will give you a clear objective as you start. Otto Schnering was very determined to start his own business. He was only 21 years old. He bought a candy making machine for $100. Otto saw that many succeed in the candy business. He made his first batch of candies. However, they did not sell. Otto made the common mistake that businessmen make. If you create the product you like, it would not sell. But if you create the product that the market likes, then you will make money. Otto created candies which tasted perfect for him. But he didn't think of the demand from the customers. Fortunately, Otto figured this out quickly. There are just 3 kinds of best-selling candies. People can't get enough of them. They are candies with chocolate, peanut, and caramel. It took 3 years for Otto to come up with the perfect recipe of candy bar. He combined the 3 bestsellers in one. That is the story of Baby Rath. Right. It has chocolate, peanuts, and caramel for only 5 cents per bar. Otto Schnering chose the name Baby Rath because it's easy to remember and pronounce. He got his $1,000 and more. Mrs. McDougall was a widow living in New York City. She has 3 young children to raise all by herself. She turned to the only work she knows outside of her household duties. Mrs. McDougall took over her husband's coffee blending business. She only had a small capital. Other coffee businessmen predicted that she'll only last for 6 months. But Mrs. McDougall proved them all wrong. She mapped around 75 miles around New York and personally marketed her business. She supplied for hospitals, clubs, and sanatoriums. With only 2 years, Mrs. McDougall has earned $20,000. With her good reputation, Mrs. McDougall was able to open her own coffee shop located at the Grand Central Terminal. She added some snacks to her menu. In the following years, Mrs. Dougal opened 6 other coffee shops in the city. The Depression hit when Mrs. McDougall was 65 years old. But she did not lose hope. Moving on to the next chapter, paying for a college education. Many famous personalities attribute their success to their early working experiences. College part-time jobs are a great way to learn how to value money and how to deal with different kinds of people. Most importantly, these jobs help to build one's character. These are the advantages that sons or daughters of rich people are probably missing. There are usual jobs such as store clerks, library assistants, tutors, waiters, or fast food crew. But there are unusual jobs which offer better experiences and sometimes better rewards. Mr. Huntley was washing his car one Sunday afternoon. One young man approached him and said, "I believe that car would look better if it were Simonized." Huntley said, "It certainly would, but it costs $5 and I don't feel like spending that much right now." The young man then handed him a small card. Written on its center is just one word, which is Simonizing. The name, address, and contact number of the boy was written on the lower left-hand corner. "I will Simonize your car for you for only $3, and I will do a real good job," he said. Mr. Huntley learned that the young man has just finished polishing the neighbor's car. The boy also told him that he's a student in Washington University. He polishes car every weekend. "Would next Saturday morning be okay to work on your car?" the young man asked. Because the student is polite, Mr. Huntley agreed. He also became curious about the diligent young man. Do you have many jobs such as this? Mr. Huntley inquired. Yes, I do, the young man said. The student cleans and polishes at least one car a day. He's already a junior and he has earned his tuition fee ever since. He has regular customers and he gets recommendations from them. That's because I do such a good job, the student proudly said. Mr. Huntley learned that the young man built his clientele just by approaching people who washed their cars. I had these cards printed, went along the alleys, and wherever I found a man cleaning up his car, I would present my card and offer to do a good job on his car. I also went around to the offices and factories. Whenever I saw a man getting into a car that looked like it needs polishing, I would step up and give him one of my cards. The student explained, Well, I have to get back to my job down the alley. I'll leave a couple of my cards. If you have any friends who want their cards cleaned and polished, I'd appreciate it if you let them know about me. I'll be around by early Saturday morning to do your car. Thank you for the job, sir. That evening, Mr. Huntley told about the student to his wife. How could you turn down a polite, ambitious boy such as that, and especially one with so much initiative? There was once a talented girl in Missouri. She has a unique skill, which is wood carving. She spent so much time practicing it on the workbench of her dad. One day, she experimented with tiny pieces of wood. The girl carved until she made a figure of a cute puppy. She attached it on a pin and wore it to the school next day. Her sorority friends saw it and asked her to make more for them. Next thing she knew, everyone from the sorority wanted those cute puppies on their hats and scarves. The girl began to make more pins and charged them for a small price. The puppy pins became a fad in her school. Soon, nearby shops wanted her to supply the pins. The girl had the help of her sister, brother, and dad to produce the wooden puppies. She used to have no money to pay for tuition fee. With her pins, the girl had more to spare. And with that, we are here on the conclusion part. So, what happens next when you've earned your first $1,000? Be wise in using your money. You can invest on stocks or bonds. But as the saying goes, do not put all your eggs in one basket. When most people buy, sell your stocks. When most people sell, that's the time for you to buy. You have learned how to start your own business. The best time to do so is now. As you learn from the stories, successful entrepreneurs just have a lot of guts. It doesn't matter if you're young, if you are widowed, if you're divorced, or if you are unemployed. You can start your business and earn money. What matters is you get yourself up and work. You've learned about selling as a business. The common image of a salesperson is one who loves to talk and go to parties. But even if you're not like that, you can be successful. You just have to be persistent and full of purpose. You've learned about making things to sell. Practice makes perfect. Any skill can be learned. If you spend so much time practicing that skill, then you will become an expert. Remember that every expert you know was once a beginner. Then you have learned about raising things to sell. Farming, breeding, or planting may seem like a lot of work, but you may find that you enjoy the process. There are many opportunities for income by raising chickens or breeding fish. After that, you've learned about starting a roadside business. The secret is to have the product that the travelers need. You also got to have visible road signs. Then you've learned about storekeeping as a business. There are probably a lot of stores in your town or city. Some of them are huge chains. But do not be discouraged. There is always a room for a better product or a better service. You've learned about promoting a small business. Good relationships with the customers must be your priority as an entrepreneur. But every now and then, you need some promos and ads to expand your business. You have to think of the best ways to attract your kind of customers. Then you've learned about selling things by mail. In the mail order business, you need to figure out your target clients first. You can build your mailing list by giving more value. The best sales letters are those which are friendly and personal. Tell your readers good stories, but do not forget to ask for the order. You've learned about selling your service. To be successful in the service business, you need to be a specialist. If you have a specific niche, you can master your skill and eliminate competition. Always give more value to your customers. If you do so, people will be willing to pay for a higher price. Then at last, you've learned about paying for a college education. You can definitely pay your way to college by starting your own business. Like any entrepreneur, you just need that guts in you. Being a working student helps a lot in building character. So, guys, have you got a business idea? You now know that there are almost an infinite number of ways to earn good money. You just need to go out there and work hard.